down to our left-hand side. Albion in pink at Pride Park. The Rams in their traditional colours of white and black. This is a ground where Derby have fared fairly well this season so far. 50% of the games they have played here have ended victorious for the home team. West Bromwich Albion were beaten in their last away game at Watford. Can they make it back-to-back victories for the first time since the middle of September, as Derby hit it forward early on, and it's a header won by Kyle Bartley. But the first game post Carlos Corberán, what can Albion achieve here tonight, Andy Johnson? What would be a good result for the Baggies under the circumstances?
well, a good result's a win. I mean, and I don't think we can use the manager leaving as an excuse, Jez. I really don't. You know, they're professional players, and it shouldn't really have too much effect on them. I don't think anything would have changed. We've still got, as you mentioned, one of the coaching staff on the bench today, so I don't see a lot changing. We need a good start. We need to get right into this Derby's team. Silence the crowd. It's a bumper crowd in Boxing Day game. Silence them and get a great start to the game.
Here come Albion looking for that great start. Furlong out to the right-hand side. Tom Fellows drifts inside and shoots left-footed over the top of the crossbar. Wayward that time from the young winger, but an early sign of intent from West Bromwich Albion, who broke through the middle. Furlong driving forward, laid it to the right-hand side, and Fellows in the end just couldn't quite get the accuracy right on that attempt.
It's decent from Tom, though. You know, he's straight away, he's come inside, which he doesn't usually. You know, he's mixing it up already. I think if we can get the ball, I think the last...
He spoke a few days ago about just how much Carlos Corberán had done for him, gave him his opportunity. Life goes on for West Bromwich Albion. It's going to be a very interesting few days ahead for them as Jackson looks to make life difficult here for Hagen. And off first time by Johnston, but Derby back in possession. Jackson. Zank wants it rolled to him, and it comes his way. Not enough weight on the pass. Derby have themselves, though, a throw in here. Speak of assists. When we talk of Tom Fellows, Nathaniel Mendez-Lang, of course, a player who's provided plenty for his teammates over the last 18 months. 20 assists in that time. Back in sending the ball long, seeking Wilson. There is a source of creativity, of course, down the right-hand side for Derby. Of course, a chance for him today up against the side that raised him. Early ball in, and it's a big save, rolled across goal and cut out. A couple of opportunities there for Derby to strike early.
It's a fabulous ball. It's in between the goalkeeper and the defensive line, and Jerry Yates gets there first. Alex Palmer just spreads himself. It's not a glamorous save, but it's such an important one. You know, it hits his body because he's in that good position. And Caden Jackson is trying to be unselfish and lay it on a play for Harness. Might have been better taking a shot on himself, but this is a really good stop from the goalkeeper.
Vital intervention as well amongst that from Uros Racic. So Mendez-Lang over this Derby corner, swept into the front post. Bodies tumble, and West Brom have themselves a goal kick.
Yeah, the opportunity for Yates is probably the way to attack West Brom. You're going to whip a ball in, whip it in along the floor, you put it in the air, you've got Holgate and Bartley to attack it, so whip it in along the floor. That's what Yates wants.
We heard in the minutes before kick-off, when we heard from the West Brom cab and pan from Chris Brunt, that Racic, a player brought into the side to help them deal with set pieces, and he's hurt himself in doing so there.
It just brings that size, that physicality you need against Derby in their set pieces. Gets a whack there, but he's in the side to be as aggressive as he can possibly be at that near post.
Of course, as we all know, Derby, such a threat from set pieces. Racic brought into the side to help them deal with those situations here today. West Brom, a side who are adept at defending those kind of situations. Looks as if Racic will be okay.
When you're a side that are defending, a team that have dangerous set pieces, you can be a big side, but you've got to be aggressive, you've got to be in the right positions as well. Size isn't everything, you've got to be on the move, get into those spaces and get to the ball first, be brave, and that's what Racic there was looking to do.
Of course, the necessary checks will need to be made. So right now, West Brom temporarily down to 10. Alex Palmer proving his worth to West Brom early on. 11 clean sheets for him so far this season. Misty night here at Pride Park. Derby on the front foot again, but the offside flag has gone up down below us.
Yeah, it's quite a high defensive line that West Brom are holding, but the important thing for them is the back four was in line. If someone drops too deep, you play an attacker on, you've got a problem.
Still waiting to be allowed back onto the field, and he's on his way now on the charge back into that midfield battleground. There's Mowat under pressure immediately from Jackson. Doesn't reach Hegem as Wilson steps in. A little bit scrappy. And Swift. Not quite seeing perhaps the attacking output in terms of numbers that you would expect from him so far. This season as crosses charged out. Johnston on his way again, but in the way was Curtis Nelson.
It's brilliant cover from the centre-half. Kane Wilson gives the ball away unnecessarily to the centre-half. He doesn't berate his teammate, gets back into a good defensive position to cut the cross out.
So what will be the first routine of the evening for West Brom from a set-piece situation? Cluster of players at the back post right now. Now the movement starts, and it comes, and it's a decent header away. And there's Lang. And Derby so strong from these situations.
Yeah, they get that combination right, great delivery, big lads on the move.
We see the ring of roses here from Derby County. A cluster of players at the back post. And it is a deep delivery. Headed behind, and they'll get to go again from the other side. Brom have only conceded one goal from a corner so far this season. They feel relatively comfortable with being able to deal with what Derby can throw at them. And it comes once more. Again, it's a deep delivery. Nelson was there. Big appeals. Oh, a handball there, mainly from the crowd behind that goal. Curtis Nelson asking the question.
Yeah, West Brom have that defensive combination of zonal marking, man-for-man marking. The ring of roses, they're trying to pick up player for player. The ball is headed against Hegem's arm. That is not handball.
He was looking the other way as well. Sure-born Hegem, who has proved to be a very important player for West Brom since coming to the club in July.
You see where the fans appealed. He's looking the other way. The ball, his arm is not in a natural position. Of course it's handball and a penalty.
We've all done it. We've all done it. Wilson pushed down the line. And a bright start for Derby.
But this has to be the right approach against a side that's lost their coach. Put them under pressure, see how they respond.
Derby have had a couple of extra days to prepare for this game. Carlos Corberan in his final press conference in charge of West Brom when he spoke to the media after that win against Bristol City, saying he thought it was wildly unfair, the schedule that West Brom had over the festive period. 5 games in the space of 14 days. He said at this time of year those extra days can make such a difference.
Of course they do, but usually at this level you have the squads as well. You can rotate, coaches rotate anyway, but this time of the season you have to chop and change. And you see a lot of different starting 11s from virtually every club, I would feel, between here and the first week of January.
Johnson saying before the game that he didn't know how many games they had in the next 2 weeks, before then clarifying that he did know they had 5 games in the next 2 weeks. It is a very packed time of year, but of course a time of year when your season can start to look very different if things go well.
Just looking at Nathaniel Mendes-Lang in his position, he's virtually playing as a second striker here. When Derby have comfortable possession, Callum Elder pushes on from left back to provide the width, so Mendes-Lang then drifts in field to become, in essence, a second striker alongside Jerry Yates.
Derby managing to get the ball to Kane Wilson time after time. Forward, and Wilson is on his way. Can he beat Bartley to it? He can, and he goes down. It looked as if there was some contact.
Well, does Bartley make any challenge? I think he uses his experience here, the centre-half. He knows he's in his own penalty area, and he seems to actually pull out of the challenge.
Second time that those Derby fans behind that goal have raised their hands in the air and look towards referee Jared Gillett.
You've got to remember, contact does not mean foul.
Plenty to be encouraged by for Paul Warne about the way his side have gone about their business early on here. Good use of the ball by Houtmijn. Allows Callum Elder to stride forward. Here's Harness. Two waiting inside the penalty area for Derby if the cross can come in. And Holgate just put under pressure.
That's been a feature of the opening 11 minutes or so. Kane Wilson stepping forward, as he does so often from right back. He comes across Kyle Bartley. There is some contact, but it's not a foul. Does this contact mean that Kane Wilson has to go to ground? Absolutely not. I'm not saying he's dived, but he's certainly looking for it. He knows he's been caught, but he's not knocked off his feet.
Of course, Kyle Bartley now back in the West Brom side, having had a run of games on the sidelines, had to have some knee surgery, which saw him missed half a dozen matches, but so important for West Brom, perhaps particularly even more so given what's happened in the last few days, to be able to rely on him to lead that defence.
Yeah, he's a great player, experienced player for them, but he has to be a leader in this transitional period.
23 years of age now, certainly a senior man in that West Brom side.
I mentioned Kane Wilson stepping forward from right back. We're seeing Callum Elder do that from left back as well. They can do that because of Ebu Adams. That's deep line position. It's that defensive insurance in midfield, so the full-backs could become wingers in essence.
Here is Wilson once again, threaded through to find Jackson. His cross charged down, but this right-hand side proving to be a profitable avenue for Derby in the opening 13 minutes. They felt they should have had a corner there.
It's a good recovery from Hegem. Initially, he's caught ball watching as Jackson makes the move in behind him, but he recovers well. That's all you can do sometimes as a defender, get back, goal side, block the cross. He does that, gets a bit of luck as well.
Such a bizarre run of form that West Brom find themselves on. They've been so difficult to beat. They've lost just one of the last 14 games, but they have won just 3 of the last 16. They've been very difficult to beat, but perhaps have been guilty of not taking their chances in games. Perhaps feel that they should have picked up more points than they have by this stage of the season. Bartley across, and no nonsense from him.
It's been a strong start though from Derby. I expected this against a team that might feel a little bit sorry for themselves, a little bit fragile. They're getting on the ball, they're getting up the pitch. They've had that opportunity with Yates as well. They're forcing the issue.
70% possession for Paul Warne's side. You would feel he'll be a very happy man right now.
Yeah, all coaches, of course, they want to dominate the ball, but it's creating chances with that amount of possession, 60-plus possession. You want to be creating chances, not just keeping the ball. But to be fair to Derby, when they have it, they're playing forward. They're looking to turn West Brom around, get crosses in. They're causing problems.
Kenzo Houtmijn over this Derby County free kick, and he flights it forward up to the edge of the West Brom area. Derby get the first contact. Wants to take a touch and fire towards goal, pushed away by Palmer. The offside flag has been raised once more.
Alex Palmer didn't know the flag was coming, but it's slightly worrying from a West Brom defensive perspective that Nat Phillips was given the amount of time that he had to take this ball down and get a shot in. Breaks kindly for him, but no one's really stepping out. Cal Bartley's kind of standing and watching. It's a great save by the goalkeeper, but they're fortunate. You've got to close down in a situation like that.
Turn by Swift, and he gets West Brom moving forward quickly. Laid off by Fellows. Racic moves it on. Fellows tearing forward here. It's on the end of it as well. Tracked by Adams.
Exactly what I was talking about earlier. Ebu Adams just providing that defensive insurance. If defenders are caught out, he'll drop back into the defensive line.
Touched off by Johnston. West Brom looking to go again here. Jet waiting in the middle as Swift picks up possession. From Furlong, and Deslang able to step in. Zeta Schrock. It's Wilson. Just a bit of a push in the back there of Deslang as allows play to continue. Racic. Swift cuts out by Hoopmine. Too many options ahead of him, so he tracks Derby down into West Brom territory. Now Harness, placed up by Furlong. Harness whips in the cross, and it's harmless and skips through to Palmer.
There was a possibility of a Derby counter-attack there, but how quickly West Brom get back into that disciplined defensive shape. They just slow teams down. And Harness, they're trying to force the issue, and it's an easy collect for the keeper.
West Brom players did train yesterday, and training has been going well. West Brom told us before the game. Derby's players didn't train yesterday, although they were asked to go for a run and post a video of it on a group WhatsApp. Paul Warne said it's not too often you have a day when you can eat a sausage wrapped in bacon, and he wants his players to make the most of it. You were saying when we were talking before the game, Andy, about training on Christmas Day. It's one that the players don't appreciate too much.
Yeah, Paul Warne said when he was older, he got dragged in. He had 2 kids under 5 years old. He was dragged in on Christmas Day. They trained for half an hour and then told they could go home. He wasn't happy at all. He said that actually then changed how he deals with his players. He gives them Christmas Day off.
It's Johnston, who sparkled in that win against Bristol City. Says he has so much to his game, but he wants to be known as a player that scores plenty of goals for his side. Hegan makes a move here and just switched off for a second to the edge of the area, and not able to get into the game. He had a touch, I wouldn't have thought, so far in this opening 18.5 minutes. Knows the club so well. West Brom, 421 appearances for them over a 13-year period, and it's the ideal person to be able to turn to in a situation such as this.
We just need someone who, again, knows the club, knows the players, is aware of the situation. Don't panic. Again, if this team has been prepared by Carlos Corberán, it makes sense just to put them out there. They all know their jobs, a lot of experience in the team. It should be a relatively straightforward situation for Chris Brunt to deal with.
Much of the preparation for this game would have been done before Carlos Corberán departed, and linked with many a job over the last few months, but the pull of going back to help out his hometown club Valencia was just too big an attraction for him.
He talked about it being the hardest decision of his life. I understand that. Swapping a possible playoff appearance here in the Championship for a La Liga relegation battle, not an easy choice.
West Brom have worked this nicely, and Furlong can fly forwards here. Dithered a touch perhaps, and Callum Elder to block that cross. Furlong. Just starting to get on top perhaps in this game.
Whether that early, Derby Storm starting to get their foot on the ball. That's what we have to do in any game, just get control of it, and starting to do that.
So Derby unable to capitalise on the strong start that they made as Mowat wins a free kick.
Jerry Yates, yes, he can score goals, but he works incredibly hard for the team, and it's slightly unfortunate there. Maybe there's a slight nudge on Mowat. You've got to be so aware when Jerry Yates is in the team. If you're a defender or a midfielder in possession, he will harry you, he'll close you down.
4 goals this season for Jerry Yates. He's Derby's top goal scorer, and is perhaps just indicates about how Derby will have to go about their business in their attempts to survive. They're not going to be relying on one player to score a heap of goals. Everybody's going to have to contribute.
Yeah, Derby have 13 different scores this season, and that, I'm sure, is going to be one of their major strengths, spread the goals around.
And there's Lang. Pushes it forwards, doesn't quite come out how he saw it in his mind's eye. And of course, Derby will search for a striker, I'm sure, and see the options that are available in January. It's that time of year when the words such as war chest, the noises we are hearing, are going to be heard plenty over the next few weeks. Teams trying to improve upon what they have.
Yeah, if you're looking to make the playoffs or avoid relegation, just 1 or 2 players in January could make all the difference.
Derby, of course, doing the best of the sides that came up last season. The first time by Mendes Lang. Older hangs one up, Bartley with a poor header away, and it's fired over the top by Mendes Lang. A bit of a let-off there for Bartley. It was unconvincing defending.
And for such an experienced defender, this is a dreadful clearance. He's in exactly the right position. Good pressure, though, from Harness and Jackson to win the ball back. It's a comfortable header, really, for Cal Bartley. It's where he wants the ball to end up, right on his forehead, but he keeps it alive. He just nods it to a Derby player, and they're very lucky to get away with it. Maybe the bounce of the ball for Mendes Lang made it more difficult. Once that maybe bounces up, kicks up a little bit, it's hard to get your foot over the ball and keep it down, but Cal Bartley's a lucky boy. I think Bartley actually got a caught, was it Jerry Yates, that flailing arm? It's completely unintentional. I think he's looking to celebrate a goal, Jerry Yates. The arms come up and he catches Bartley in the face.
Paul Warne pacing around in his technical area. New hat for Christmas, maybe.
I just think he's got 6 of the same hat.
Now a chance for Johnston, who's got a bit of room here. Pulls it back to find John Swift. Johnston again, going to be very confident here this evening after that double against Bristol City. Madjak looks to lay it off first time and lead back up with Johnston, now laid off to Swift. Clever pass out to the far side. West Brom with plenty of players forward here. Striker goal comes in. Couldn't beat the crowd. Hegem has it taken off his toes by Swift. It's Johnston, and has Swift alongside him. Oh, it is Swift in possession. Derby with everybody back here. Happy to be patient. Swift once more. Chachard made a burst ahead. Patience, the name of the game. Mowat. And Johnston. There's Swift. A period of possession this for the Baggies. Mowat rolls it to his right. Furlong sizing it up and having a go, and it crashes back off the frame of the goal. Now Johnston tiptoes into the Derby penalty area, just as his progress halted. Now Hegem lifts one towards the back post, and it had to be dealt with by Callum Elder. West Brom mightily close to getting themselves in front. Back on the ball once again. They're getting a real grip of this game now. He fizzed towards Michael Johnston, but it was pushed too far in front of him.
You know, it's talked maybe 5 minutes ago about West Brom starting to dominate possession, dominate the ball. They're patient with it. They work it from wide left to the right-hand side. Fullback stepping in field as they want to do. It's a lovely clean strike. Can't do much more. You can either play fellows in wide or take the shot on, catches it cleanly. Keeper's beaten, all ends up. He is so unlucky, Daniel Furlong.
It would have been some way for him to get his first goal of the season. Chipped in with plenty last year. 5 goals he scored in the Championship. Best scoring season of his career. So the tide turning a touch in this game. West Brom settled into a groove here at Pride Park. Packed Pride Park on this Boxing Day evening. Schrom put under pressure immediately and forced to launch it long. Racic, imposing figure in the midfield. Now Furlong edges it to his right. Phillips tiptoeing his way into the Derby penalty area, outcome of which will be a goal kick.
That's so important when Darnell Furlong steps forward from right back. Got Tom Fellows to his right, so he's 2 against 1 with Callum Elder. So Mendes-Lang has to track Furlong all the way back. It's hard to do. It's not where you want to be as an attacker, but you've got to do your defensive job, especially when they're so dangerous down that right-hand side when they pair up.
So much going on in the Sky Bet Championship today. The scores from the earlier games running across the bottom of your screen. Great day for Burnley at Bramall Lane, and incredible game at the Riverside as well. We still wait for our first goal here this evening.
Let's look at all those goals, all the stories. Once again, just incredible action.
Moving into the second half of the long championship season. Hope it will be one in which they can have some comfort in the gap between themselves and the bottom 3. The gap standing at 5 points. Piece of play from Hoopmine. Fired across goal! Post in! Derby County into the lead. Well, the post didn't work in West Brom's favour at the other end. But for Jerry Yates and for Derby County, it most certainly falls in their favour. Didn't appear perhaps to be a great deal on there, but Derby won't care about that. They lead at home here at Pride Park once again.
Yeah, just as West Brom was starting to dictate play, Jerry Yates comes up with an incredible... He actually starts the move as well. He drops deep into midfield. Just watching me, orange boots, never stops moving. He's played the ball out wide. He's always offering himself up for a forward pass, so he's not stood and watched. And he holds off the defenders. He's given half a yard and he takes the chance to get the shots in, but his movement, his work rate, getting into position to be fouled with a forward pass, that's all his hard work, and it's movement that gets him into a half-decent goal-scoring position. He's got defenders all around him. This is not an easy chance, just slightly delays. Defenders don't step onto him and he punishes them.
Going to need a few more goals from him. Jerry Yates this season is 5th of the championship so far. Just out of the reach of a despairing Alex Palmer. And now Derby in a position of strength here at Pride Park.
There's so many strikers that would drop in there, that number 10 pocket of space, link the play and then stand and watch, but he didn't, Jerry Yates. He got into the penalty area where he needs to be, but he's got to make that run, make himself available.
Influencing things again as Derby look to come forward. West Brom defenders asking for an offside. The flag stays down and Holgate gets himself in the way and Furlong prevents the corner. Derby though seeking a quick second.
Well, the ball doesn't find him again, but Jerry Yates' movement again, he's sprinting towards the far post. The ball doesn't reach him, but again he's making himself available in goal-scoring positions.
There is a dejected look on the face here of Mason Holgate, so another problem for West Brom to deal with.
Well, we just see whether Racic drops into the back line if Holgate can't carry on. He did that at Sunderland, Racic, so it's a position he has played before. There's no natural centre-half on the bench for the Baggies.
It's his 10th start in the last 11 games. He missed the start of the season, but the look seems to say a lot, and as too does the hand motion there from the medical team. So something to work out here for Chris Brunt.
Football can be so frustrating. Chris Brunt have been happy with the 10 minutes before they actually conceded, knocking the ball around. Furlong hits the post, everything's going well, they've got control of the game. Then in a flash, they're a goal behind.
So perhaps they didn't seem a great deal on when Jerry Yates picked up possession, but he found a way to beat Alex Palmer.
Yeah, I think the finish again will take a lot of the focus. You see there, he's dropped deep, he's linked the play, but he's got himself into the penalty area. He's not expecting players around him to do the job for him. He's saying, you're going to get into the box, find me, I'll hold defenders off, I'll take a snapshot and I'll score, but if you don't get into the penalty area, don't make yourself available, chances will not come along, and he's such a hard worker on and off the ball, Jerry Yates. I suppose the only other option, if Holgate can't carry on, is you bring on Callum Stiles at left back. Hegem can play centre-half, so maybe a couple of choices with Hegem or Racic to drop into the back line if needs be.
It does appear as if Callum Stiles is preparing to come on. West Brom didn't initially feel that he would be available for today's game. A nice surprise for them to have on Monday when both he and Carlon Grant were both able to train on the bench today, and it does look as if that is going to be the way that they go. Him into that central defensive position as Wilson brings it down here for Derby. Wilson trying to cut inside, he's not allowed to do so, but Derby have themselves another corner hit.
It's amazing what a goal can do for a team. The confidence now flooding through Derby. They're under the cosh, they've got the goal, they're now dominating the game again.
Comes Kenzo Hoopmine. Cluster of Derby players right now all around the penalty spot, discussing which will be the plan they hatch from here. They've worked it short. Elder and Deslang. Now Hoopmine whips in, the cross is flicked on and scrambled away by Swift.
Incredibly well, just change the picture, change the way that they attack from set pieces, to then playing the short one, moving a team around, then eventually getting the ball into the box. It doesn't have to be a first-time cross from the set piece. They can just work an angle, move a defence around, then try and deliver from a different angle.
It's Callum Elder, who had a fine performance in that game against Luton at Kenilworth Road, perhaps one of his best in Derby colours. Different role for him, of course, today, with Derby switching to a back four. To barrel his way through the challenges here. And Derby do have themselves a free kick, a bit of a delayed decision.
It is a major feature of Paul Warne's side that he wants his fullbacks to be as aggressive, as positive as possible. That's what Callum Elder does here, taking on all comers and getting a reward of a free kick in a dangerous area. Talked about it a lot, the amount of goals that Derby score from set pieces. You've got to get that combination right, good attacking movement, good delivery, and time and again they do get it right.
Can they find the formula from this situation? Nelson and Phillips forward, Mendes Lang and Elder in discussion.
Normally from this position it's the right foot and you whip it right on top of the goalkeeper. The left footer again, it'll drift away from the keeper, maybe slightly harder to attack. We'll see what they decide to go with.
Will be Elder into the front post, flicked on by Yates, awkward for Palmer, who tips it over the top.
That's not the greatest ball in, but Jerry Yates makes something of nothing. That isn't the plan, to play it in so low. He's just looking to help that on. It could end up anywhere on a teammate's head or in the back of the net, but Alex Palmer is alive.
I've seen that one a fair few more times if it had looped into the top corner. Well, he's had to make some important saves so far, Alex Palmer. This time it will be Mendes Lang who whips it into a really dangerous area. Bartley gets his head to it, and as he was tumbling he was looking at the referee, and the whistle does come.
That's what he has to do. It's a brave header. He probably knows he's going to get clattered, but he has to get his head on it, and he does the job. So he's part of that zonal marking setup, so he's there to attack the ball, exactly what he does, and he is caught late.
So easily could have been West Brom in the lead here. Darnell Furlong's strike coming back off the post, but since then they've got themselves in front, and it is they who are asking the questions here. Into the final 10 minutes of the first half here. West Brom games, as we know, tend to be tight this season. Johnston into Racic, who's under pressure from Harness. Tries to force that ball through, but Elder was onto it in a flash, and he's driving Derby forward here. Mendes Lang looking to get the better of Hegem. The delivery comes in. It's awfully well to keep it alive as well.
So Mendes Lang Jackson just switching flanks, giving the Derby fullbacks, the West Brom fullbacks something to think about.
And there's of course such a fantastic day of football, and we're not done when the full-time whistle blows here at Pride Park. Leeds travel to Stoke, a tricky looking game for them as they look to keep themselves in touch at the top. Can they capitalise on Sheffield United's defeat earlier today?
I think it's a trickier game for Stoke, the form that they're in, and Leeds, with that result at Bramall Lane, will be going there with great belief.
Brilliant win for Burnley, that at Bramall Lane. Some race for the top two in the Sky Bet Championship, as it was of course last season as well.
Jerry Yates, the central striker for Derby, is having involved in the game. He's got his goal, but Josh Maja, who is so effective, usually away from home, struggling to get involved at all, really. Not getting service into him, he's not securing the ball. The centre-halves are dominating him. And again, he's the type of player that can, in a flash, get a goal. That's what West Brom need.
He does tend to save his best as well. 4 away days, 8 goals this season. 11 appearances away from the Hawthorns, but as Andy said, he's just not getting into the match so far.
I think his form away from home really underlines West Brom as a team. Much better away from home this season than at home. It was completely different last turn.
Here's Johnston into the Derby area. Might be Johnston, the flag raised on the far side. Mikey Johnston seems shocked at the decision.
Well, has he gone slightly too early? Ball's contested in midfield, breaks kindly. As it's laid forward, it does look as if he stepped beyond that defensive line too early. He's looking across it. Again, he's not looking at the defender, he's looking at the ball. That's why he's a step too far forward.
West Brom have a remarkably poor record when it comes to games against Derby. They've won 1 of the last 31 meetings. A run that stretches back 105 years. Time West Brom have won here since 1919, away at Derby in 2003. Rob Hulse with the goal for Gary Megson's side. Hegem under pressure. Good work by Wilson. Struggling to cause too many threats in this game, Andy. What do they need to do to try and give Derby more to be concerned about?
Well, they did have a decent spell where they were dominating the ball. It culminated with Furlong hitting the post, but I mentioned there about Maja. He's not been heavily involved. They've not been a consistent attacking threat. The overall flow of this first half has been more Derby than West Brom.
One period in the game so far when they got on top, we saw that they had plenty of possession in that time, and it would have been so different had Darnell Furlong managed to find the back of the net. It came back off the post instead as Tom Fellows picks up the first yellow card of the game.
Yeah, he's tempted in the ball, gets slightly away from Callum Elder. He's chasing it, Tom Fellows. Just comes across his man. It's not the worst challenge you've ever seen, is it? It's not exactly taking Elder's legs away from him, so maybe slightly harsh that he's been booked for that.
It's just a few frustrations that hasn't been able to influence the game too much so far, Tom Fellows, but we all know that he's certainly a player that Derby will have to keep an eye on throughout the 90 minutes. Breaks on the edge of the area. Here's Harness. Now Wilson. Brings the ball up towards the back post. Madja, well, he went to the ball whilst there was hesitation. And now West Brom back in possession.
And the break was on with Mikey Johnston. Who makes the tackle? Ebu Adams.
Such an important role in this Derby side. Derby perhaps lose a little bit from him going forwards, but he's the man they've turned to keep things tight in that midfield area today.
That's why Ben Osborne is so important for Derby. He plays as the holder that frees up Adams to step forward.
And Osborne for Derby here today, missing out through injury. Johnston. Into Derby, something to think about here. Ball rolled across to find Alex Mowat. West Brom work away back into this game before half-time. Here's Hagen. Here's Mowat. No real pressure on him right now. Hegem. West Brom with plenty of players forward here. Mowat again. And Swift, neat turn from him. Racic. Wilson steps in with the challenge, but it was clumsy, and now a free kick here in a prime position for West Brom.
Yeah, it's an area that Kane Wilson really doesn't want to step into, stepping away from Mikey Johnston. He's always wrong side of his man. He's never going to get to the ball without committing the foul.
You would imagine John Swift will have a very strong interest in this. Discussion taking place right now. 4 or 5 West Brom players around the ball. Vidal Zetterstrom hasn't had a great deal to do so far in this game. Organising his wall right now.
Yeah, West Brom have had a lot of possession. It's been across the face of that Derby defence, so they've protected their keeper pretty well.
Goals or assists so far this season for John Swift. Things we commonly associate with him. Such a proven performer down the years. 100 goal involvements in his 320 career championship appearances, and he's one of 2 behind this free kick. It will be Swift, but it's the wrong side of the post. Plenty behind it, but just lacking the accuracy.
Yeah, trying to get that combination of pace and accuracy. Plenty of pace on it, real whip. Goalkeeper's not going to get there. You get the sense that Zetterstrom actually knew where that post was, and it was going wide, but not that far away.
Very close indeed from John Swift. Second time this evening that West Brom have been denied by the frame of the goal.
I was just looking at the flow of the game in this first half. It's generally been Derby, but West Brom have had periods where they have dominated the ball. But interesting, the Derby goal came from a period when West Brom were controlling the game. So again, it shows just because you haven't got the ball, when you do have it, can you get into a dangerous area? Can you take a chance? And Jerry Yates did.
Harness not happy with that decision. It is a bumper crowd here at Pride Park this evening. Derby's biggest crowd since March, over 31,000 here. Such a great day, as I've mentioned in the calendar, brings the crowds to stadiums. Over 3,000 have made the journey from West Midlands to East to be here as well, but not enjoying themselves as much as the home fans so far. 3 minutes added on at the end of this first half. Racic, Elder immediately steps up onto him. As if he's feeling a bit of pain from doing so, as well as Wilson rolls it to his left to Phillips. on here for Jackson. It doesn't quite reach him, but Derby drag themselves down the pitch.
It's a really good ball. If you can't pick out your man, make it hard for the defender to take control, force him to put the ball out of play. So it's a decent ball. It turns West Brom around.
West Brom started the season so well away from home. 3 successive victories to kick off the campaign, but it is just 1 win now in their last 8. His intentions there, but it just didn't quite come off.
Yeah, it's an away form, which is meant the West Brom are challenging for the playoffs. It's at home, they need to get their act together a bit more.
Paul Warne, you feel, would be happy with what he's seen from his side. He was defiant after that defeat against Luton at Kenilworth Road, said he was proud of his players, and for 90 minutes they didn't really do anything wrong. Those 2 goals, so unfortunate, both coming from deflections as West Brom come forward here. Paul Warne said he wanted his players to think about the pain of defeats against Luton for an hour, but then no more. Once they were on the bus after the game, forget about it. Remember how well they played. We've all had days like that through a long championship season.
It's hard to do. They get 2 cruel deflections like that. I think a draw would have been hard on them. To lose the game, even harder. But it's how quickly you can recover. That's down to Paul Warne again, that mental approach. Get the players right for the next game.
Of course, at this time of year, the chance to get back out on the pitch quickly and try and put it to the side. Derby with a very tough-looking game coming up on Sunday when they'll host Leeds United here. West Brom with a tricky one as well as they travel to Bramall Lane and might be feeling the backlash from the Blades after they were beaten earlier on today. Final seconds of the first half is Holgate. And ball sent forwards, and the fellows will to keep it alive here. Can't really catch it, and it's nice and straightforward for Jakob Zetterstrom.